I used to receive. I settled for, she has a messed up face, but she dresses really cute. At one point, I couldn't even look people in the eye because I was too afraid to see how they were looking back at me. It was only by the grace of God that despite all my health issues and all my self-esteem issues, I managed to excel academically and professionally. I founded Jazzy's Jammies as a senior in high school. As was mentioned earlier, we have gone on to collect 6,000 pairs of pajamas, and now we started to throw pajama parties in children's hospitals. I graduated in the top 25 of my high school class in Germantown. I had a full scholarship to Middle Tennessee State, a full fellowship to Syracuse University, where I studied television and film production. I left Syracuse and I went to an internship in New York City at Cartoon Network. And finally, I moved all the way across the country to one of the most superficial cities in the world, Los Angeles. And for 5 years, I was there. Many people would say, she is so strong. But I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. God knew what I knew. I was completely, emotionally exhausted. Every superficial area I had gone to, searching for love and searching for acceptance and searching for empowerment, had failed me. But how many of you agree that just like love, God never fails? Yes. By the grace of God, I had women of God around me to pour into me and to whisper His truths in my ear. Truths like, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like I have plans for you to give you hope and a... Have you ever received the truth from God's word from a sister in Christ when you absolutely needed it most? Have you ever been that source for someone else in their lives? Now when I make this next statement, I want you to know, I'm going to step on your toes, but I'm stepping on mine too. Oftentimes, when we begin to feel doubtful about whether God sees, remembers, or understands us, it's because we're not seeking community. One of the biggest blessings God has given us is each other. It's this sisterhood. I have become absolutely convinced that if we could continuously shape our lives so that the thoughts we think, the company we keep, and how we spend our time all align with the Most High, God's whisper will become the loudest voice in our ear. When I moved to Los Angeles, I was super focused on networking. That's all we talked about. Networking. Meeting the right people. During my first year, I went on at least 9 different job interviews. Sometimes I could see the interviewer's eyes glazing over as soon as I walked in the room. By then, I had at least learned that their reactions to me were not my problem. They were their problem, not mine. Amen? Yes. Still, if I'm honest with you all, it was quite crushing. One day, after another rejection, in sheer desperation, I broke down. I was riding in my car, and I looked back Ford Focus. I was coming home from the interview, and as dejected as I felt, I was on one of the most beautiful streets in Los Angeles. On both sides of the street, there were rows and rows of huge houses, stuck-up, grand houses. And in front of the houses, there were these huge palm trees that came up, leaves so big they seemed to arch over the street. And I remember getting to a stop sign. And I kept my hands on the steering wheel, but I had my face up toward God. And I was never saying, God, now, I'm your child, and I know I'm your heir. I said, God, you saw the dreams of a little girl who only wanted to tell stories, and you brought me all the way to Los Angeles, California. But am I hoping in vain? While you are waiting, God is working. Yes. It's a quote I love by Sarah Jakes Roberts. While you're waiting, God's working. Yes, he is. See, I may not have been able to see God or feel God, but I have to trust and know that God was not bringing me that far to leave me. Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, it was a whisper that my parents whispered in my ear. God has not brought you this far to leave you. Yes. And all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. Right? Yes. That is the definition of having faith in a God who understands. See, there are times where all of us, no matter our age or our level of experience, we face situations outside of our control. Co-workers at work gossiping about you, a stack of overdue bills, children in trouble. There are times where all we can do is trust God's promises. Yes? Little did I know that while I was waiting, God had already worked it out. Now you guys, remember I mentioned I had an internship in New York City. Well, on the very last day of that internship, I was confident. I thought I met with everyone I needed to meet with. I was ready to leave that day, feeling like I had done what I needed to do. And a woman, an executive, came up to me and she said, "You haven't met with me yet." She said, "You need to meet with me before you leave today." I said, "Okay, sure." Little did I know that out of all the people that I met in my internship, she would be the only one I kept in contact with. In the midst of these 9 interviews, I reached out to her. She said that most of her LA contacts were no longer in LA, but she had 2 best friends who still lived there. Now, one of her best friends just so happened to be an executive at one of only 6 major studios in Hollywood. A year to the exact month that I moved to Los Angeles, I received an email from the executive asking me if I wanted a job at Paramount Pictures. From day one, my boss was a champion for me. Despite at least 3 medical leaves, I worked my way up from assistant to coordinator to a film buyer. I was involved in leadership positions, including starting the first ad hoc committee to address health-related diversity that the studio had ever had. I attended dozens of private screenings. I read and reviewed hundreds of scripts, and I attended some of the most prestigious film festivals in the world. Toward the end of last year, after a lot of prayer and fasting, I took another leap of faith, and I left that job for an opportunity to impact people more directly through pursuing my PhD in communications. My boss even submitted a letter of recommendation on my behalf. And this past February, I was accepted into the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill on a full package, including a stipend, tuition, and yes, health insurance. One more thing. That executive I met in New York who approached me on the very last day of my internship, I found out years later she actually has a cherished niece who, like me, has a facial abnormality of her own. Nee, this scarred-faced girl who has had over 40 procedures, had finally come face to face with all 3 faces of God. God looked at me with all my physical scars of illness and all my emotional scars of rejection. And he said, you a nigga this. My face is toward you. I am the only person you need to know to achieve my best for your life.
Amen.